Right. Welcome back to Cat Simplified channel. Today we are going to take a look at database forms and queries, and then I've compiled several questions that we are going to try and then solve them today. Right. Let's start by having a little bit explanation about the query and then the form. Now, yesterday we talked about different objects. We said there are 4 objects in database, of which queries and then the forms also form part. Now, a query is an object in database that are used to, or that is used to extract data from one or more tables. So if you want to extract specific data from a table or more than one table, then we use query. And then a form is regarded as a user-friendly object used to capture, modify, and view various records from a table. Now, let's take a look at different query criteria, which is similar to the validation rule criteria. We talk about between goes with and. So like, for instance, between 1st of January 2020 up until 31st December 2025. So we use this keyword between for numbers and dates, and as well as text. Then we also have not, and then we also have all to separate or greater than arithmetic operators, and then is null, meaning is empty. It's not null, which is not empty. And then not, this one we are going to make use of them today in most of our queries, which is excluding. So we'll be looking at that. And then we will also use wildcards, like A asterisk, that means begin with letter A, and then asterisk A, meaning it ends with A. We are going to look at that also in most of our questions. And then also using this wildcard question mark, we are going to apply them most often. Now, let's start with our first question for participant table or for participant database. Now, I'll open it. I've shared, don't forget, I've also shared the link for all these questions and then also the data files. So if you are watching with me, you can also have these files, download them, and then do with me. Right. For participant, so I'll open it. Right, so I have 4 participant table or database. Now, according to the question, it says, create the following 2 queries based on the participant table. The principal needs a list with names of learners, which will help with marketing. Only the field surname, underscore fan, name, num, and then the grade must display. So only these 3 must be displayed, which we are going to look at that. And then the criteria is here. Only the participant with the skills, expertise of marketing, and have internet access must be included. So let's take a look at them. This is our table participant. So we are going to create a query based on that table. And how do we create a table? You click on create, and then you see query design. You create, and then you go to query design. Here is it. Please take note, whenever you are creating a new table, use table design, query design. But then when you are creating a form and then the report, I'll advise you to use the form wizard or the report wizard. We will talk about it. So query design, and then it will give you list of tables that you have to click to add. So now the question says the table should be based on participant table. So we double click on this table. So we have two tables here, helpers and then participants. Now, because we are looking for this table, you double click. You will see the table here. In case you make a mistake and maybe you double click twice, it should be only one table with a list of fields. So if you made a mistake and then they're repeated, just remove them. You right click and say remove table to remove one of them. Right, now let's go again. Now the question says we need to include surname. So you go and double click on surname from here, or you can choose from that side. We also need name and then the grade. So name and then the grade. These are the three fields that the question wants us to add. Now, the question also says only the participant with the skills, expertise of marketing, and which have internet access. But now we see here that there's no internet access, it's only name, surname, and grade. So what you need to do is that look for the field that has internet access and then the skills. So now you can see that here we have internet access, double click, and then we also have expertise. Now, after this, you run it. Click on run to see the values. You don't have to start by typing the criteria. You have to see the values. Let me remove the background colors and alternate colors so that it will be more visible for me. Right, so this is what we have. Now, we have the surname, we have the name, grade, internet access, and expertise. Now, the question says, only those who have internet access, that means those who said yes. No means they don't have internet access. Now, expertise, according to the question, only marketing. Let's check the question once more. Only the participant with the skills, expertise of marketing. So if we check the expertise here, we see fundraising, and then we see marketing. Right, so only those with these skills must be selected. So now it means that here we must select marketing, and then here we select yes. Now I'm going to show you several ways of inserting the criteria. One, you can, now here you are going to type yes, so you go back to design view, and then under the internet access, you say yes. Or we can say, oh no, let me finish the first one, yes. And then here, marketing. Then you run it. So here it shows marketing and yes. Right. And sometimes we can make a mistake, like Leonard, maybe let's say you are typing marketing and then you make a mistake. So our advice, now that you are looking for marketing, you know, marketing begins with letter M. So if marketing begins with letter M, marketing begins with letter M. So I will advise that you put, because marketing begins with letter M, so you start with the first letter of market, which is M. So M and then asterisk. That means M and other letters. So meaning we are representing these letters with the star. That's how wildcard works. So M and then the rest of the letter. So now, which of these expertise begin with letter M? And that is the marketing. And then the yes also, we can, instead of us to type yes, we can just say Y star. Y and then the rest of the text. And then to be easier for us. Now let's check it. So I'll go to the internet access and say Y star. And then marketing, you say M star. Now the moment you type it, you say like, forget about the like, you just type M and then asterisk. Here it didn't show because of the yes. Maybe the yes and no was already selected. So we need to type the yes in full. There we go. Right. Because the yes and no was selected as a data type, that is why it didn't give us. But any other text, you will get it right. So M star, that may begin with letter M. Right, so that's the question. Now let's check another question based on the same database. It says the grade 11 committee needs a list of participants who do not have email address to text messages to them by cell phone. Now, only the fields surname, name, grade, and cell phone number have to be displayed. All right, now one thing that I forgot here, we don't need the internet access and expertise, so we have to remove this. The question says we must only display the surname, the name, and then also the grade. So we have to untick this part that says show. So this will be our final query. Right. Now the second question. Only the surname, name, grade, and then the cell phone number have to be displayed. And the only participant without email address must be included. So now here is the market test. We have another one also. We have to create another query, and then we save it like that. So we must create another query. You go to create, and then query design. Now it says we must show the surname based on participant surname, name, grade, and then also we have to display cell number. Right. Now, because the question says those who do not have email, so meaning that we will need email address. You will need email, and then you run it. You click on run. So now here we have also we have surname, name, grade, cell phone number, and email. Now we want to display those who don't have email address. Those who don't have email address. So how do we do that? We go to email address, the criteria under the email address. Now, like I said, whenever you want to display those who did not provide, in other words, the empty spaces, we say is null. It's null means it's empty. Now let's run it and see. It gives empty spaces for email address. Now, if you say it's not null, if you say not null, it gives you those with the email address. So now the question says only those without email. So here we put null. Sometimes you don't need to even put S, just say null, it will give you, right, only the empty spaces. Now, we are not supposed to display the email, so we have to uncheck this one so that email address will not be shown. Let's move to the next question. And then it says we must save it as query no email and close it. Now, how do we save it? How do you save it? You just close it, and then to ask, do you want to save? Say yes, and then you type the name, query no email, so that it will be here. Right. Now, let's say I don't need this query. If I don't need this query, I just have to delete it. I right-click and choose delete. I right-click and then I choose delete if I don't need this query. Right, now let me move straight to the next set of questions. It says the query fundraising has been created and displayed the field surname, name, and grade at all the research participants. This query shows all grades and expertise, although the grade 11 committee only wants the information of the grade 11. So here, they want only those for grade 11 with the expertise in fundraising. So you have to underline it, what they want from the query, and that will be the criteria. Now, Open the query and change it to display only the grade 11s who have the expert in fundraising. Right. Take note that the expert field do not display. That means we will not display that one. You have to underline that you know what the question was. So here, we want to display the grade 11s who have indicated or who have an expert in the fundraising, and then we will not display the expert. Now, how do we open that? Fundraising is already created. So we right-click and choose Design View. Now, grade is grade 11. So the grade should be 11. I think this question, I solved it already. And then the expert also, because we want the fundraising, we say F star. That means F beginning with letter F. Or you can type the fundraising as full. Right. And then we don't check this one. Now, alternatively, if you don't know how to put the asterisk and others, you can just run it and then you copy one of the fundraising. You right click and say copy. Then you go to design view, you come and paste it. You right click and say paste, so that the text will be typed exactly. If you don't know how to use the wildcard, you can also do the copy and paste. Now, the question doesn't want fundraising to show, so we have to untick this one. So basically, this is what the question wanted us to do. Right. Now, let's move straight to the next question, which is about form. Create a form name, enrollment, and based on the participant table. Add only the name, surname, grade, cell phone number, and expertise fields to the form. Insert your name as a label in the form header, as well as the photo, movie, genre. Now, let's try and then do this form. We are going to create a new form, still using the 4 participants. So to create a form, we go to create, and then we use form wizard. Now, the form will be based on participant table. So you click on that arrow, and we should display the surname. So you double click on the field, surname, name, grade, and then according to the question, we need also the cell phone number. We need also the cell phone number. Right, so when you select all the fields that are needed, you click on next. The question didn't tell us which layout should we choose, so we can choose the default one, and then you go to next. Now, the question say the title should be enrollment. So we type enrollment. And then you take this one, modify the form design, because you need to do other things. Now, when you click on modify, and then it opens for you in design view. It opens for you in design view. Now, this is what we have. You can extend it. Now, you see a form has 3 different sections. We have the form header, we have the details section that contains all the fields, and we have the form footer. So if the footer section here, there's still something that you need to do, you can just drag it to open it. Now, the header also, you can widen if you need to do more. Right. Now, let's check the question again. It says, insert your name as a label in the form footer, as well as the photo, movie, genre, and ensure that it fits properly. So inside the footer, we need to put our name. Now, when you open it, you see the control, form design controls, arrange and then format. It will be the new auxiliary tab that will be displayed. Now, the form design, you see different controls. We have the one with A and B, which is text box, mostly used for the fields. The one with capital A and small a, we call it a label. Then the third one is called a button, which we use to insert different buttons. I'm going to show you. And then we also have the tab control. We have hyperlink, which we use to create a hyperlink. And then we also have the browser control. We also have navigation control. Then we have the option group, like the different options. And then we have the page break. Then we also have the combo box, if you want to insert a combo box. And then we also have a line to draw a line to separate them. And lastly, we have a toggle button. So these ones, you might be given a question to do that. Right, now we are going to insert our name using a label and then a picture here. So we have to click on capital A, small a, which is for the label. And then we come and draw it here. Then I can type my name. Right. Just like the way you type, you can increase the font and others. You can just go to the home and increase the font size and change the font color, bold it, or whatever you want to do. Right. Now, the question again says we have to insert an image. So we go to the form design. You will see insert image and then movie. Or if it is not here, just click on browse to insert that image. Then you come and draw that image here. Now, when I put the image at the form footer, this image doesn't fit in properly. So I must go to the properties so that I can make sure that it stretches and then it fits into that rectangular shape that's given to us. Now, to go to the form properties, just right click on the image, just go to properties. Now, when you click on it, it will show you the name of the image in the property sheet. Now, we want to go to the zoom option, to the size mode. We have several things that you must take note. Visible, picture type, the picture, the name of the picture, the width, and then the height. They can tell you to change the width and then the height. You do it there. And then the color, everything under the footer section. Now, here, the size mode. We want to change it to stretch so that it will fit into that box. Take note, we must go to the size mode properties. Right, let's check the next question again. It says, change the heading of the form to research enrollment. Now the heading should be research enrollment. So the heading is enrollment, so we have to add research. Right, and now this heading here too, we can drag it. There are several things that you can do regarding forms, so take note. They can tell you to increase it or bold it. Now, they can also ask you to insert the date and time, still under the form design. So you see date and time, and then you say include date and include time. So if you don't need the date and you want only the time, you must remove this one. And it will only display the time. If you want both the date and time, you take this. Sometimes the question will tell you to only insert the date. So here we want both, you click OK. Now, by default, it's going to be in the header. You see equals to date and equals to time. So now if the question wants you to put it in the footer section, you can drag it to the footer section. Remember, there's more space. You can drag and get more space and arrange them. So we need a time also. Right. Now, let me go to the form view and see. Now you see the date is here, the time is there. The movie picture is here. Your name is there, the enrollment, everything is done properly. Now, so these are some of the things that you can do regarding form. Let's check other questions. It also says, change the color of the text to white, and then the color of the background of the label to dark blue. So in other words, the heading. We are changing the background to dark blue, and then the color of the text to white. Now, the text color, that's the font color. You click and then you go to home. The color should be white. And then the background, that's the fill color here. You see, fill color should be dark blue. So you get it under home and then another text alignment or text formatting. You get those things there. Right, now the next question says, change the color of the details section to a light color of your choice and add the current date as a field in the footer. We did the current date already as a field. So this question only wanted the current date, not the time. So we can delete the time. Right, you click on the time and then you delete it. Now, it wants us to change the color of this detail section. Remember, this is detail section and this is the footer section. So we can change the color here by right-clicking on the detail section, and then you see fill or back color. You say you must choose any light color of our choice. So fill or back color, we can choose any light color. Right, we can equally do the same for the footer section. If the question demands so, we can also do the same. Right, so basically you can just fill the back color. Again, you can even fill the back color with an image. Let's say I want to fill this one with an image. I just right click and then you see here, fill that here is only the color. Now, if you want to put an image here, you just go to the format, you see background image, and then you choose the image. So if I wanted this to be the background image, or if I wanted different background image, I can just go there and choose different background image. There we go. So that's how we insert background image. You go to format, you see background image. But if you are changing the color, you just right click and then you see back or fill color. Right, now, let's move on to the next question. We are done with the 4 participants. So we move straight to the next question. The next question says, for Comp Club, we need to create some queries and form. So let me open it and then we start. I will try as much as possible to solve so many questions because queries and forms has a lot of marks regarding database. Now, the first question says, create a query called QRY4_2 based on the club members table. Add the following fields to the query: member, phone, group, and mailing list. So we go to create, and then we choose query design. Then the query should be based on, according to the question, based on club members, not meeting. So we double click on the club members. Now, the question says we should add member, phone, group, and mailing list. So we add member, phone, group, and then mailing list. These are the ones that should display. Then again, add criteria to display only parents in groups who are not on the mailing list. Only parents who are not on the mailing list. Now, you just have to run it first and see. Now, you see groups here. We have parents, community, learners. First of all, when you select them, you must run it and see what does the question imply. What does the question want? That's why you can be able to put your criteria. Now, it says only parents, and parents start with P. Like I told you, you can just select, highlight, and then you copy P. or the parents who are not on the mailing list. That means those who did not indicate mailing list. That means those who said no. Yes is always the tick, and the no is the one that is unticked. Now, let's go back, and then the group, we can paste the parent, or we can say P star. That means begin with letter P. And then the mailing list, we say no, because those who did not give their consent. So it will show parents and those who said no. That is unticked. Right. The mailing list field must not be displayed when the query is run. So meaning here, where it says show the mailing list with tick, it should not be shown. That means you must uncheck. But then the criteria should be there. Right. So this is going to be our new query. And then we close it. And then to say, do you want to save it? Say yes. And then you put the name. KRY 5, I think it's 4_2. So that the query will be here. Right. Now I don't need this query. I will delete it because I don't want to touch my data. Right. Now let's check the next question. Open the query QRY 4_3 and modify it as follows. The query must show all records of the members who are younger than 21 when they join the club. Now, we want to go to 4_3. You right-click, choose Design View. Now, after this, first of all, run it and see. According to the question, it says, those who are younger than 21 years when they join, meaning that age join should be less than 21. So the age join, under the field age join, the criteria, we put less than 21. Run it again. Right, now the next question says, the query must also show all records of members who have more than 2 devices, irrespective of the age at which they join the club. Here, it's a bit complicated. Now, they say it must also show all those who have more than 2 devices, irrespective of the age. That means the first condition that says the age should be less than 21 should not be catered for. And then ensure that the youngest member appears at the top. That's the first in data sheet. Now, let's go back to design view. The devices, it says those who have more than 2. Now, we cannot put it here. If we say greater than 2 here, it's wrong because it means those who are less than 21 and at the same time, when they are on the same row, it means end. But then the question says irrespective of their age. That means we have to move straight to the all row and then we put greater than 2 for all the age that's greater than 2. Right. Because of the keyword here, irrespective of the age they join. Ensure that the youngest member appears at the top in the data sheet. So let's run it and see here. The youngest, which is the age join, should be at the top. That means we have to sort according to age join in ascending order. So we go back and then age join. Under the sort row, age join, we put ascending order. Then we run it so that it will be from the smallest to the oldest. Right. Please take note here. We did not put it on the same row as less than 21 because of the keyword irrespective. That means for all the ages when they have their devices to be greater than 2. Right. Let's check the next question. It says open the QRY 4_4 and modify it as follows. Add the group field to the query. So let's open 4_4. The group field is not there, so we must add it. We double click on group field. And then it says, the query must show all records of members whose surname inside the member field start with letter from N to Z. Now, those whose surname start with letter N up until Z. So that's the members. But then sometimes if you don't know, just run it and check. Members are the one with the surname. So now, those whose surname start with N and N with Z. So we use the keyword between N and Z, starting with N and then ending with Z. So only those surnames that start with N up until those that ends with Z. And we use between because of the, we know the starting one, which is N, and then where it is ending, which is Z. Please take note, like I told you, we are going to make use of between more often today. Right, now let's check the next question. Only those records where the member joined the club before April 2018 must be listed. Where the member joined before April 2018. So the join must be less than April 2018. So here we put less than. First, less than April 2018. That means starting from March and then coming. So meaning that it goes up until 31st of March 2018. So we can say less than or equals to 31st of March 2018. Just type the date like that, the day / the month / the year, and it will come with a hashtag automatically. Then you run it. So only those with that are less than 2018 April. So it's only March, January, and February. There's no April there. Right, now that's all about that question. We go to the form. Open the form FRM4_5 and modify it as follows. Remove the border from the label in the header section. So the form is created this time. We need to modify it. And to modify it, you right-click and choose Design View. Now, the question says we must remove this border from club members. So when you click on it, like I told you, just right-click and go to Form Properties. Or you can just go to Properties. Now, when you select it again, just go and look for the format, or you can just select all. Look for the border. The border style says solid, and then you remove it and say transparent. Or alternatively, you know, there's a border width with a hairline. This solid here should be transparent. And then just a line. Or alternatively, you can do that by selecting it and then you look for border. Or you can go to format, then you see the shape outline when you want to put a border. So here the border was selected with the line thickness. So you can, whenever you are doing border also, you can go to format and go to shape outline, and then you'll be able to remove it. Right. Or you just go to the properties and then you make sure that the border width is not solid, no color, not solid, and then you remove it from there. If it's solid, there will be a border around it. So that's how we put borders. Or if you want to put a border, you can also go to format and use the shape outline. And then we also have the shape field as well. Right. Now let's move straight to the next question, which says, move the control to the admin field, the control for the admin field from the detail section to the header section. Now, let's look for the admin. Here is the admin. We have to remove it from here. So you click on it and select, then you move it to the header. It should not be in the details section. Then the next question, display the birth date field in the same format as the join field. Do not change the format of the join field. Now, the join field, when you talk about field, the one on the right-hand side is the field, the one on the left-hand side is the label. So take note. So the label does not contain values. The fields contain values. So now here, it says the join field is already formatted. We must format this birth date to be like that also. Now, we talk about what we call the format painter. This is already formatted. So you select it and then click on format painter. Then you go and apply it on the birth date. So you click on this, format painter, go and select the birth date field and apply it so that they will be formatted the same way. Right, that's how we do the formatting. Let's check again. Yeah, but then, okay, now you can see that it's a date and it doesn't want to work. This is the short date and this is the long date. So this is the date. So we need to change this one to short date. So we go there and choose the format from long date into a short date. Right. Now they are all short date, but then this one has the day, the month, and then the year. Let's go there again. Under the format, it's not there, so we have to type is the day / dash, the month is short, dash, and then the year is also short. There we go. So we can also change it by using the property sheet. You just go and check the way this date was formatted, and then you apply it here also by the DD, M, and then 2Y. So that's how the date was formatted. Right, now the next question. Change a property of the join field so that the date picker control is displayed in the field, like the birth date. So now check the birth date. When you go to the properties here, you'll see date picker, show date picker, is it for date. Now, when you come here for join, the properties, show date picker, is it never. So we have to change it to for date so that it will be there. That's the date picker. Here, it gives date picker, and then this one must also give you. Right. So the date picker to display, you must go to the properties and then you see show date picker and then you choose for date instead of never. Right, now let's move to the next question. The current date. The current date is displayed, is supposed to be displayed in the footer section, but there is a problem and then the text, the date function. Now, fix the problem so that it will be displayed automatically in the footer. The functions used to display the current date is equals to date. Like we saw it in the previous one, equals to date. Let's go whether it shows there. It doesn't show. Why is it not showing? Because it is inside a label instead of a text box. Instead of a text box, it is now a label. You can check here from the property sheet. So it was supposed to be a text box instead of a label. You can put a function inside a label. So now, to solve that, you can do that by inserting a new date and time. Only the date, so that it will be displayed and you put it there, or you insert. So now the date is here. We just have to drag it to the footer section. We don't need this one. Right, so that now the date will be displayed, the current date will be displayed, like you see here. Let's move straight to the next question. 5 inventory. Now, this is only form question, and then there's a query also. And this question was last year, November question 2024. Right, we move straight to 5 inventory. And then now the question says, we should modify it to look like this. Remember, there's a picture, so let's check what is there. This is the form created for us. You right-click design view. Now the form doesn't have a picture, so we need to insert that image. And then this one must also be changed. The header should be changed to club members. So we take the header to the right side here and change it to club members. Right, and then here on the left-hand side, we insert an image. So how do we insert image? You go to form design, insert image, 5 logo is there, and then we put the logo on the left-hand side. Now, the image must be filled in. I think that's what the question says. The size of the image is 5 centimeters and 3 centimeters. So when you click on the image from the property sheet, you will see the width and then the height. So the width is 5, and then the height is 3. Right. And then also the next question, an input mask was also added to the cell phone number so that the data is captured in the correct format. Please take note, the cell phone number has +27 followed by the 10 digit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus the 9 digits. So now we need to format it to look like that. Now, when you go to the cell phone number, remember I told you that you don't click on the label. The label is the one on the left-hand side. It is just a caption. Now, the text box is the one that contains the values, which is on the right-hand side here. Now, when you click on it, it gives you it on the property sheet. Now, we are going to add what we call the input mask. Now, for input mask in form, you get it from data. Input mask, we also have validation rule. We also have default text, validation text, and then also the text format. You go to data, then we put the input mask here, like we did in we did yesterday. It starts with +27, so you put inverted comma +27. followed by 10 digits, and 10 digits, so 9 digits, so each digit is represented by 0. So you put 9 zeros. Right. So that's how the input must be. Remember, we can also insert validation rule and validation text and default value in a form. Take note. The next question. Open the query QRY 5_3 based on the TBL stock table in design view. Insert a calculated field called profit to calculate the amount of profit that will be made on each product. Now here we are going to create a calculated field. How do we do the calculation in a query? So this is the QRY 5_3. We open it in design view. Now in queries, whenever you are creating calculations, the first thing to do is to go to empty spaces that are there. So the next available empty space, you right click and then you see build. It's going to give you expression builder, which you guys are familiar with when we were doing yesterday calculations in a table. Alternatively, you can see builder here and then it will open for you. But I prefer you right click on that space and choose build. Now we are going to do calculation. They say we must calculate profit. And now remember, we have the cost price and then the selling price. And you know the profit is calculated by selling price minus the cost price. So we have all these fields here. You double click on selling price minus the cost. Then you click on OK. As soon as you click on OK, just drag and see what will happen. The function will be here. Good. Now, as soon as you click on OK, you will see EXPR1. That's the name. Let me run and show you. You see that name here. But that is not the name that the question says it should be. It says the calculated field should be called profit. So meaning EXPRY R1 should be replaced with what? Profit. So we go back there and then delete. Please do not delete the column. Delete only the name there. And then we type profit. We run it again. There we go. So we have done our calculation. So that is how we do a simple calculation in queries. Now let's look at other questions. Open the QRY 5_4 based on the TBL stock. Create a list to display a T-shirt product. So let's check that one. QRY 5_4 in design view. Now we are going to display T-shirt products that have less than 5 items in stock. So we have to start underlining one by one. First one, T-shirt product. So let's go and check, run it and see. Where do we find T-shirt? It's under product. So you see T-shirt. Now it is not only written T-shirt. We see Galaxy T-shirt, Planet T-shirt. And T-shirt is inside. It is not outside. It's not at the beginning or at the end. And this is where you need to apply wildcard. Right. So here, how can we solve this type of question? We can solve that question by going to the product. Remember, it is under product. So the criteria should be under product. And then you put asterisk T-shirt asterisk. That means it contains T-shirt. If we want to apply a criteria that says it contains, we put asterisk before and then asterisk after. That means contains. So this one means contains T-shirt. So it doesn't matter whether T-shirt is starting at the beginning or at the end or in the middle. So you put asterisk t-shirt asterisk. Right. Now let's run and see. It's going to display only the product with t-shirt, as we can see here. Now the second criteria, which says that have less than 5 items in stock. So we go and check. Items in stock should be less than 5. So in stock on the same row for criteria, you put less than 5. We run again. It gives us 2. Now we are not done. Or there's an or here. Or any other product with 15 or more items in stock. Any other product with 15 or more. But because it says or, we jump to the next row that says or. And then under the in stock, that has 15 or more, greater or equals to 15. That is 15 or more, 15 of more items in stock. Or it's not say 15 or more, it's a 15 of more items in stock. So 15 items, here should be 15 in stock. You say or more. So you run it and see. So we got 4 criteria or 4 data. Right. So basically, this is how we solve that question for last year question paper. Now we move straight to the next one. That was the last question. QRY 5_5. Now I want to explain this concept to you. We call it the aggregate function. Don't forget, for your pet, you need to create at least one of the aggregate functions to be able to get a mark for using a function or calculation. Now we need to modify this query QRY 5_5 to display this. Let's go and check 5_5 and see. It shows so many things here. Now we want to change it so that it displays only this. First of all, identify the first column is category. And then the second column is written here, sum of inventory value. But then when you go here, we don't see sum of inventory value. We see inventory value. Now you ask yourself, where do we find the sum of? So now the first one should be category followed by the inventory value. So meaning when you go to design view, the first one, we don't need the product. It should be category, and the second one is inventory value. We don't need this last category. We delete it. So we have only 2 columns. Let's run again. We have the category and inventory value. But now it says sum of. So anytime you see something like this, sum of, and you can see that of is not a good of. It's sum and an of together with the of with a capital O. Sometimes you can see AVG of. Whenever you see a function name with the word of, it means they made use of what we call the aggregate function. Now, how do we activate the aggregate function? From the query design, you will see totals. When you activate it, the totals is going to give you the total row. When I click on it, there's no total row. So when I click again, you see total, and they will group by. Now, the category, there's nothing like any function, sum of or count of, so you leave it. But then the sum of is only attached to the inventory value. So we go there and change the group by to the function called sum. Watch out for some of these functions: AVG for average, mean, max, count, standard deviation, VAR, that's variance, first, last, expression, and where. Watch out for those type of functions. So here we choose sum, and then we run it. Now we see our sum of inventory value. Why do we see that? Because we activated the totals and then with the sum. So we call this type of calculation aggregate function, which is similar to the subtotal features in subtotal feature in spreadsheet, or also similar to the pivot table in spreadsheet. So you can make use of this to find the total for all your work whenever you are analyzing your spreadsheet, your database. Right. So this is the aggregate function. Now let's move straight to the next question. We are done with our 5 inventory. So we move to the next question. This question says we need to apply or open the Q5 France 2023, and then we do some calculations there. So let me open the database first. Today we will try as much as possible to solve more questions for queries. So if you have any questions, don't forget to leave it also in the comment section. Right. These aggregate function and others are also applied in grade 11. Please take note to the grade 11 learners. Whatever that we are doing here also applies to you, please. It applies to you. You get questions like that. You have chance to watch this video again. And then by Friday, we will start with HTML. Some people are asking, tomorrow we are finishing database. And then Friday or Thursday, we will do HTML as well. Then from next week, we will be revising Microsoft Word. We will try and touch every topic so that you'll be well prepared for the examination. Now let's go straight to this question. It says, open the query QRY5_6 in design view and modify as follows. Add a calculated field called score difference to determine. So the calculated field name is called score difference to determine the difference between score field and score 2 field. Now, when you say difference, that means minus. So let's start with the calculated field 5_6 in design view. Now we are going to do calculation. Like I told you, you must go to empty space. You right click and say build. Now, the score difference will be the score minus score 2. So you double click, it will show you all the list of the fields. So you double click on score minus score 2 because of the difference. And then you click OK. Now we need to change this EXPR1. You delete and then we type score difference. Right. So you see score difference is equals to, then we normally use the column to represent equals to score minus the score 2. Right. So we have the score difference. Now the next question says, display only teams beginning with S in the home team field. Now here, beginning with letter S, that means S star. Ensure that Chile is not going to appear in the away team. So the home team, we run and look for the home team. The home team field. Here is the home team. And then under the home team criteria, that begins with S. So we say S star. If we say ends with S, we say star S. So take note. So here S asterisk meaning begin with S is going to display all those home teams that start with letter S. Right. And then again, it says not including Chile as an away team. So you see away team has Chile here, but we don't want to display Chile as an away team. So we go to away team and then the criteria for away team. We shouldn't include chili, not including, we use less than and greater than at the same time. Then you type chili. That is not chili. So it's going to remove chili here for you under the away team. Don't forget, we use less than and greater than as not. So it will be S star, and then that side will be not chili. You just type chili, and then it's going to give you the inverted comma automatically. You don't need to type the inverted comma there. It will be there automatically for you. So this one say excluding chili. So take note. Right, the next question says, delete the match number field. So we don't need a match number field. And then show only the home team, the score, score 2, and the score different. So we don't need the match. Yeah, we don't need a match field. So delete the match number. So let's look for the match number. It has a match, and then the match time, match date. Yeah, that's match number, the first one. So you can right click and say you clear it, or you just clear, and then you press delete, it will be there. So we don't need that part. And then everything will be deleted from that. When you run it, there's no match number. I start with the home team. Right. Now, the question says we must only display the home team, the score. We don't need this. Those that we don't need, we have to uncheck. Score 2. And match date. So we need to only display this. These 4. Right. Now, sometimes the question can ask you to also sort. Let's say the question says we must sort according to trials followed by the score. Then you have to interchange the position. So here, we just choose ascending and also ascending. Now, if you are going to sort first by trials and then followed by the score, you must change their position. How do we change it? You come here and choose the trials, and then here you choose the score, just to change their position, so that it's going to be sorted according to ascending order by trials and then by the score. Right. So basically, this is what that question wanted us to do. And then it also says 5. Yeah, we are done with that part. We go to 5 animals. Please, if you have any question, you can ask. There are a lot of questions that, like I said, we are going to solve them today so that you understand the concept of queries, how to do calculations in queries, how to do calculations in forms as well. Now, 5 animals. That is our next question. Open QRY5_3 based on the TBL animals table. Modify the query to create a list of all the animals that originated from Africa and belong to the carnivore group. Display only the animal and status field. So let's go and check QRY5_3 in design view. Now the question says only those from Africa, and then they are carnivore. Now, run it and check. Where do we find Africa under the origin? And where do we find the carnivore is under the groups. So here you go to origin and then you put Africa, which is A star. Let's check first and see. But it gives Asia as well. Asia also starts with A. So to separate Africa from Asia, you say AF star. That means begin with letter AF. Now it shows only Africa. Don't rush. Always you try and then run and see your output before you go to the next question. Now, the group should be carnival. So we go back and then the group, we put C star because it starts with C. There we go. So we have Africa and then the carnival. Right. The next question, it says, display only the animal and status field. So we will only display the animal. We don't need the origin. So we have to uncheck, and status. We don't need the group as well. So as you can see, the criteria is under origin and group, but then this question says we should not display it. There we go. Right. Let's move straight to the next question. Open QRY5_4. Modify it as follows. With a status that is endangered and a lifespan of less than 20 years, or where no population size has been captured. There are 3 criteria that we are going to put here. So let's check QRY5_4 in design view. Now, first of all, when you open design view, run it again and check and compare to your question. The question says the status should be endangered. So we check the status, endangered, that's the only one starting with E. So we go there, the status, criteria, E star. Run and check whether you got it. If you did not get it and there's another one that starts with E, we go to the next character, which is N. So you say EN star. Right. Then the next question says, N, lifespan of less than 20 years. Whenever you say N, that means on the same criteria row, lifespan less than 20 years. Lifespan less than 20. And then say all. Now here we come to all. That means we move to the next row. Or where no population size has been captured. So population size has been captured. Let's check again. Population size has been captured. There's no population size. That is empty spaces. So we go to all and then we put null. Remember, null means empty. And then you run it. Right. So this will be our output. Now let's move to the next question. Create a query named QRY5_4 based on the TBL animals table in design view as follows. Display the average lifespan. Here's the keyword. Average lifespan of animals according to their group. I want you to understand this. Now, whenever you see according to, or you see another keyword per, or for each, or you see by, that means we are using aggregate function. It has been grouped. So display average lifespan according to them, group by their group. Their group is the group is also another field. Format your results with 1 decimal place. Now let's check it. 5_. Oh, it says we must create QRY5_5 based on TBL animal. So we go to create, query design, and then here, don't forget it gives us the query. We need a table, TBL animals, and then the question says average lifespan according to their group. So here we choose the group. That's the first one. And then the next one, the lifespan. We need the group and then the lifespan, because the question says average lifespan according to their group. That means group by. So when you select the two fields, activate the totals. Now you see group by. The group by here shows that that's what you say according to or per or for each. So you don't touch it. Now the lifespan, we have to choose what we call average, AVG. We are finding average lifespan according to their group. According to is the one represented by group by. Then you run it. So we have the group, which has been grouped according to carnivore, herbivore, and omnivore. And then AVG of, like the one that I showed you. This one, they could have given you a screenshot. Then you must know they use the aggregate function. Now, AVG of lifespan, average lifespan. Now, let's change it to 1 decimal place. So you click on your calculation under the average. You right-click and choose properties. Then it's going to give you property sheet. Where it says format, we choose fix. And in the decimal place, we choose 1. Because the question says it should be 1 decimal place. Then you run it. So it will be AVG of lifespan, and it has been formatted to 1 decimal place. Right. So that's how we solve this type of question. Now, open this form. Here we are going to the form 5_2. You right-click, design view. Now the question says, modify the group field so that it shows a display as follows. Now you can see the group field has options or choices. That means they use what we call the lookup wizard or the combo box. Now, how do we do that in forms? The group, it was already done. I'm going to go back. So you right-click on the field. Here's the field. You right-click and say change to. Then you see combo box. So it was text box. We are changing to combo box. You right-click, change to combo box. Now, when you change to combo box, you see the arrow. Now you go to the data. We are going to link it to our list. What are the lists there? We have the carnivore, herbivore, and the omnivore. So where it says row source type, we choose value list because we are going to type them ourselves. Whenever you are going to type the list yourself, you choose value list. If you are picking from a table, we choose table or query under the row source type. So here we select value list, and then you go to row source. There are 3 dots here. Click there, and it will allow you to type the source, carnivore, and then omnivore. Right, you type them vertically, just like in in the table whereby we said I will type in the value that I want. Here, you click on the 3 dots, and then you click on OK. The options will be there. So when you go to the view, the form view, and you click on the arrow, you see those options. This question gave you a screenshot. It gave you a screenshot. Right. Now let's move straight to the next question. I'm going to change it back to. The next question says, the average lifespan of the animal is 25 years. Insert a formula in the text box in the form header to determine whether an animal lifespan is more than the average lifespan. Display the answer in the yes and no format. Yes and no format. Note, do not use if statement. So like here, people were going to like, me, I was going to be the first person to use if statement because I love if statement. Now here, we are going to do calculations, but then they say we should not use if statement and it should display yes and no. Now, how do we do calculations in a form? I'm going to show you how to do calculations in a form, which is similar to how to do calculations in a report. Now, this is the text box. You see unbound. You right click, and then you see build event. Now, when you right click, you say build event. Sometimes it's going to give you expression builder. Right click, build event, expression builder. Click OK. Sorry. Now, we are going to put the function here or the calculation here under the expression builder, whereby the lifespan is greater than 25. When the lifespan is greater than 25, the average lifespan is greater than 25. And then you click on OK. Now, you still see unbound. So we have to go and copy the formula and come and paste it here. So you right click, build event, expression builder, OK. Lifespan greater than 25. Then you copy, you select, you right click and say copy. It won't give you. So you press Control and C. Control C, okay. You come to where it says unbound, Control V. Don't forget to put the equal sign. So it will be equal sign, lifespan greater than 25. Now, if we run it, it's giving us 0 instead of yes and no. So we now have to, if you go to the next record, 0, others are giving us 1. Let's go and run it and check. We need to now go and change the properties. So you right click and choose form properties. Then under the format, this answer here, you click on the answer. Under the format, you will see format, then you choose yes and no. So that when you run it, it's going to give you yes or no. Right, so here we needed to change the format to yes and no by going to the property sheet. Inside the text box, you see format and every information there. Always check the property sheet if the question wants you to modify it or make the changes. Right, now we are done with that question. Let's go to 5 customers and see what is new over there. There are some questions that might be new that's going to help us as well. We will try and cover more questions today, and then you do the rest of the questions for me. Right, because there's conditional formatting and others as well. Now, we'll move straight to 5. Five customers. Right. Let's open 5 customers, then we'll check the questions. The first question says, open the query QRY5_3 based on the TBL customers, and then display a list of customers who prefer using Netflix platform and live action movie. So 5_3, you right click design view. Now, where do we see Netflix and then the action movie? So we run it and check. We can find the Netflix under the platform, and then action movie is under the genre. Like I said, you can copy it or we use the wildcard. So here we go to the design view. Under the platform, Netflix, so we say N star. And then under the genre, we say action movie, A star. Now let's run it and see. Netflix, and then action. But now we also have adventure. So we need to change it. Under the genre, we say AC star. That means action. Because action begins with letter A and C, to separate it with adventure movie. Right. So that's that question. And then we move straight to the next question that says, open the query 5_5. Display the total monthly fee for each. Now you see, for each platform. Total monthly fee for each. Because of the keyword here, for each, meaning that we have to use the aggregate function. And then what function are we going to use here? Total, which is sum. Sum on the monthly fee. So we will need the field that's platform, and we will need the field called monthly fee. Let's go and check 5_5. It's already there, platform, and then monthly fee. So here we activate the totals. Because the question said total monthly fee, we just have to change the group by under the monthly fee to sum, because it's total. And now the question again says we should sort it alphabetically according to platform. So platform, and then sort, we choose ascending order. Whenever you see alphabetically, meaning ascending order. Right, and then we run it. So the platforms have been grouped in ascending order, and then the sum of monthly fee. Right, the next question. Modify the form FRM 5_2. Insert the hyperlink. So we have a form here. We right click and choose design view. Now, the question says, insert a hyperlink on the image in the header that will move to the 3 platform file. So there's an image here. We want to apply a hyperlink to this image. Now, we need to also build this one here. So they create a link, and then the link can be found from the format here. The link, when you select the image, I think it should be under the form design. There's hyperlink. I saw it somewhere here. Under the control, the link. Yes, there it is. Link. You click on it, and now it should be linked to 3 platform, and then okay. So that when you click on this, it opens the 3 platform for you. So it hyperlink, we go to the form design, and it's under the control. You must click on this one, then you apply the hyperlink on that, the link to that image. So you say text to display. Here we are not using the text to display. We are not using text to display. Or alternatively, tell me what to do is a hyperlink or link. It's a link manager data source. Yeah, it's not showing here. So the best way is to use this link to create a hyperlink to a document. Right. Now let's move straight to the next question. That says, add a validation rule to the date join to match the validation text. Now there's a date join over there, date join. When you click on it under the property sheet, like I told you earlier on, don't click on the first one, which is a label. You click on the second one. And then the validation rule input mask, you can find it under the design. Then you will see validation rule. Now, it says only date after the 2014 will be accepted. So date after the 2014. So greater than, that's after 2014. That's the last date, which is 31st December 2014. 31st December 2014. And then you apply it here. Right. Now, like I was talking about the hyperlink again, instead of it to use here, that I wanted to use another alternative with a link. When you have the image, there's a hyperlink here. Yeah. So you click on this one, then it selects for you. I think that will be the right one. Here is giving me this one, which I don't want for the text. You click on the image. Now, it shows you the image. Then from the property sheet, if you right click and go to properties, you will see hyperlink address. Then you click on the dot, the three dots under the hyperlink address. Then you go and select three platform so that it will be linked to the image. It will be linked to the image, not giving you additional text like I did initially. So I think this one will be the right way. Right, now let's move to the next question again. Modify the conditional formatting that has been applied to the rating field as follows. Change the value of for the longest bar to the appropriate number. Edit the bar color to display in any green color. Now, conditional formatting is also there in database form and database report. Now, the conditional formatting was applied on ratings. Please, like I've been telling you, you only click on the field, not the caption or the label. Now, where do we find the conditional formatting? It's under format. If you don't know where to find it, you can go to tell me what to do and type conditional formatting. Right. Now, when you go there, they already applied conditional formatting here. The rule is already there. You are not inserting a new rule. We are going to edit the existing rule. So you select it and say edit rule. Now, they use the data bar. Check different conditional formatting. We have the check the current expression. That's where you see greater than, less than, and others. Now, compare to other records. That's where we see the data bar. We use the icon set and others. Now, the question says the shortest one and then the longest one. Now, it gave the value instead of the lowest value and then the highest value. They chose the value one and that. That's why it was given a problem. Then the bar color should be green. And then you click OK and apply. Now let's take a look at it in the apply and then OK. Now let's go to the view. So when the values are becoming longer, that means the value is longer or bigger. So you see different bar colors. And this is also the hyperlink. When I click on the image, it opens that spreadsheet file for you. Right. So basically, this is what the question wanted us to do regarding the hyperlink and the conditional formatting. Now, add your name and surname in the form footer. So here we need to add our name and surname in the form footer by using a label. Anytime you are adding your name, use a label, and then you type your name and surname. Right. So that's how we need to do regarding this question. Now we move straight to the next question. I'll check if there are more to do. If not, I will skip that question. And then you will do it at home. 5 cities weather, I think you can do it. You are creating a query, displaying only the month field, and then the maximum temperature should be more than 25, which is greater than, and then the rainfall should be more than 100, which is greater than 100. Right. 5 rankings. Let's check it also. Sorting alphabetically. And then you also display South Africa or India or Batman. Let's check this question also. 5 ranking. Right. Now this question says we should create a query called QRY5_2. And then we should display all players who is ranked in the top 3 of all the areas. They fail to display player, area, and then the country. So to create, you go to create, query design, and it should be based on top 10 ranking. We should display player, area, and then country. And then again, all players who is ranked in the top 3. Now, we don't see any ranking here. So we need to include it, but we are not going to display. And then you run it and check. The top 3. All players who's ranked in the top 3 of all the areas. Now, how do we display the top 3 of this one here? We need to check the top 3, the highest is 10. So meaning the top, which is the max. We can use the max function also. Or we can also use the sorting criteria. We can sort and then we see in descending order, or we can, so you can see the top 3 is 10. The rest are not top 3. So meaning here is 10. We can use that criteria by doing in descending order. That's the top 3. And then we also have, they must be sorted alphabetically according to player also. So player alphabetically in ascending order. Then, yeah. So here we want the top 3, only the top 3 based on the ranking. And then we can use the descending order to display, and then we put a 10. Right. We create another one, QRY5_3. All the South Africa or India or batsman, and then only the player, country, and the rank field should be displayed. So this one here, we don't need the rank field. So that will be our last list, and then we close it. It will ask you to save, then you say yes, and then the next question we are creating again. But this time we need a player, area, country, and rank. And then it says South Africa or India or batsman. So where do we find South Africa or India? It's under the area. So we go and type South Africa, which is S star, India I star, in that order, and then batsman B star. So we have batsman. We have, no, sorry, it should be the country. I made a mistake. It's, yeah, the country here, yeah, not the area. South Africa, India, and then batsman. South Africa, India. Now here it says Bangladesh. Now batsman is in the area. Let's check the question again. All players from South Africa or India. Oh, sorry, that are batsman, right? So only South Africa and India, we don't need this B star. That are Batman. So here, the areas will be star for South Africa and then B star again for India. Please don't forget to repeat it. Batman, that's from South Africa, and then Batman, that's from India. If you ignore this one, you are going to be penalized. It will give you wrong answer. So Batman, that's from India and South Africa. You must repeat them vertically as it is. Right. Now we go straight to the next question. It said display only the player, country, and rank field. So here we need the player, country, and rank. We don't need the area. Good. Our next question. Here is just the heading, background color, and then inserting a picture. Also sorting. So we will skip this. I'll give this question to you to try your hands on. Change the query to display the film that had a review of more than 80 by Rotten Tomatoes and more than 70 by Metacritic. Okay, let's check this one. Maybe to be confusing for some learners. Let's break it down also. 5 movies. 5 movies. The question says we must open the query 5_3 as follows. 5_3. Now, it says display the film that had a review of more than 80 by Rotten Tomatoes and that are 70, more than 70 by Metacritic. Now, how do we see that we have a review here? So we need a film, which is already there. And then we go to the next one, which is review, Rotten Tomatoes, and then Metacritic. Right, so we have Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic. Now, the Rotten Tomatoes should be more than 80. So under the Rotten Tomatoes, we say greater than 80. And then the next question says Metacritic should be more than 70. Greater than 70. So we got 1. Right. Let's move straight to other questions. These ones we can, I believe most of you can do it. Let's go straight to 5 gallery, whereby it needs us to do calculations over there. So this type of question is mostly for grade 11, where you need to just create a form and then you sort and put the criteria also there. Now, 5 gallery database. Five gallery database. It says, open the, okay, this is the table. I made a mistake. It's a calculated field, but it's a table. I repeated the same question. It's a table. Now let's even try and do the calculation here. We can do the same calculation by applying it here. It says, a new calculated field called ensure, and then that calculated field should give this answer. 25% more than the total value. that the stock in the gallery should be insured for 25%. So now should be more than the total value. So we create a new field by right-clicking and then you choose build. Now 25%, like I said earlier on, 25% will be increased. So we are adding 25 to 100%, which will be 125%. And then it will be 125 divided by 100. Let's check 125 divided by 100 times. I think it's under a table. The total value is under exhibit. So we have to open it times the total value. And then the new name should be called insure. Right, because we are moving to another table, that's why we got that challenge. If it was the same table, I want to see the one that has, yeah, none of them was based on SB. Right, so that's how we do the simple arithmetic calculation. Now we move straight to 5 bookings. I think this question also can be ignored because it doesn't need a lot. We have to insert the logo. It's similar to the earlier question that we did. And then the validation rule. Yeah, it's similar, so we will ignore that one. I will ask you to do it at home. And then also 5 activities. We only insert our examination number and then the image to be fully fit. That means we use the stretch to be visible and then the combo box. Yes, let me touch this question. 5 activities. 5 activities. Now, the form was created for us. Then we need to apply or do 1 or 2 things. So I open it in design view. Now it says, add your examination number to the form header in a new label. So here we add examination number by clicking on the A and capital A, then you draw it, then you type your examination number, 925, then you type the examination number there. Right. The next question says, edit the image found in the form header to fully fit. Now here is the image. To make sure that they fully fit in this frame, you right-click, properties. Now, like I said, you see what we call, when you click on the image, you see the size mode. Zoom, you change it to stretch so that it will fit inside the frame. Then the next question says, set the form header to be visible in the form view. Now look at it here. If you go to the form view, you don't see the header. There's something wrong there. So for it to be fully visible, you click on the header section. Under the format here, you will see display when. It says always or on the screen only. It should be always. Let's check again the form header. And then display when, not the screen only, always. Yeah, it should be always, and then it doesn't want to show form header. Let's check again. Display when. always is selected. So that's the key one that you have to pick. It should say always so that anytime you click, it should display there. But I wonder why this one is not showing. Let me check for the form footer also. Display when always. So these are the properties there. Visible, yes. Oh, yeah, it's here. For the form footer display, always is there. But when it go to visible, it was selected no. It should be yes. Good. So these are the two things that you must take note. You must check the visibility and then display when. Sometimes the display when will be only print only. You must check. It should be either always or screen only. And then the visible should be yes. We have to always check the format part. Right. Now we move straight to the next question that says, link the combo box for the activity type field to the options in the activity table. Yesterday, the combo box we were always using tell me what to do, but then sometimes you can also link it to a table. Now, this is activity type. It's already combo box. So we go to data, and then where it says row source type, we choose table or query, and then the row source, we link it to, according to the question, TBL activities. Let's check again. Yeah, TBL, the table activities. So when you are linking to the list in the table, the row source type, you choose table or query, and then the row source, you select the table. If it's a value list, that's where you have to type the values yourself. Take note, if value list, then you type these values yourself. But then if you are linking to a table, you choose table or query, and then you select your table. Right. Then I think that's the last part for this question. Yeah, that's the last part. Then let's also check other questions. 5, donate, whereby there are some calculations that involves date and time, and then also some form that involves a button. So we will talk about 5, donate, and then other questions also. Right. Now I'll open 5, donate. According to the question, it says, create a query based on 5 QRY5 underscore 4, called QRY5 underscore 4 based on TBL helpers. Display the name, cell number, availability, and city. So we are creating query design and based on TBL helpers. And we display the cell name first, cell name second, cell number. So here should be name, here should be cell name, cell number, and then availability. Then city. Right. Then the question says, include only those individuals who are available to help for free, who stay in Southern World or Lone Hill. Now, let's run and check. Where do we see available? We say yes. Who are available? We say yes and no. And then the city, we want only these 2 cities. Right. So here, available, we say yes. And then the city, we can say SA star. Begin with SA. So yes and SA. The reason why I chose begin with SA is that there was another city that begins with letter S. So to separate them, we use that one, right? And then the question says, or Lone Hill. So we go to or and then we put Lone Hill, L-O star. Don't forget to repeat the yes. So yes for this SA star and yes for LO star as well. Right, so Lone Hill and that one only. Now the next question. Open query 5_5. Insert a calculated field called days. So 5_5 in design view. Calculated field here called days. So we right click and choose build. Now the calculated field is called days. According to the question, to display the number of days which have passed from the date a donor donated blood. Now, the date a donor donated blood. Where can we find that? Let's go and open it from our table. So you click on the database, the table, and this one was based on TBL donors. So we have to open TBL donors to see all the fields. And then here, where do you see the date donated? Date donation is here. I think that is the only date there. So we are comparing with the current date. We are comparing with the current date. So we have to put the current date first. Now we have to put a function for that to display the current date for us. So we go to the function, built-in function, date and time. Now, we have the date serial, we have the weekday, and then we have the date difference. So we can use the date difference, we have the date. So we can use the date minus the date given to us in the 5 donors. So this date, which is the current date, minus that date. And then we change it to days. Now, I want you to spot the difference. Remember, yesterday, for table, we don't have a function called date when you are doing calculation. But then for query, the date function is there. So when you are doing calculation for the query, we use the date for the current date. And then for a table, we use a date serial for calculations. Take note, please. Right. Now, I'll repeat this. Right click, build. Now, we want the current date. So we go to function, built-in function, choose date and time. Or alternatively, you can start typing date. That double click on FX and then you close it. Minus. Then you go to the 5 donate. You click on this plus table. And because this check, this query is based on what table? Now it was based on TBL donors. So you click on it, then you will see all the available fields. So this is the donation date and then okay. Then we change the EXPR to days. Right. So that's how we do the calculation regarding the days and then the years and others. Now, we move to the next question that says, the query QRY 5_3 is based on that. Open the query so that it displays as that. Now, look at this query. We have the letters. Let's open it first, 5_3. We have the donor ID. We have the race, which is only white and black, and then the letters donated. So check here. The race should be only white and black, not colored. So we go to the race field, and then we put white, W star, and then B star. We want to display only white and black. Then check again. The letters donated are only 2. So we have to include the letters donated, and then we choose the criteria. So the letters should be here. And then the criteria will be 2. 2 for white and 2 for black. There we go. And we don't need to display. We have to only display donor ID, race, and letters. So we don't need the age, the gender, and then also we need the race. So we don't need to display the age and also the gender. We need only these 3. Right. So basically, when you are doing this type of a query with a screenshot, first of all, make sure you open it in design view and then or data sheet view. Then you'll be able to see which one is common. Right. Let's move straight to the last question here. Open the form 5_2, and then we make sure that it looks like this. Now, there was a instruction there, 5_2 in design view. Now, let's check here. It says, place a 3pt border around the form title as shown above. So this one has a border, which is 3pt around it. So you click on the heading, right-click, right-click and choose Form Properties. Now go to Format, then you see Border. Border width. The border style is solid. Border width 3pt. So there's only the 3pt that should be around. Alternatively, you can get it under Format. You go to Shape Outline, line thickness, and then the weight. Right. The next question. Check again. It says, set the 5 picture as the background image. So you go to background, and then you go and choose background image under the format, and then 5 picture. Then the last part is the action button. So I'm going to take the opportunity and explain action buttons to everyone. Now, there was an action button displayed here, which is close form. It is in the footer. So we need to add that action button in the footer. Now, when you go to the form design, this button here, and then you draw it. Well, the moment you draw, it's going to give you the command button wizard. Now, there are so many actions. We have the record navigation for find record and next record. We have the record operations like delete record, duplicate, print, save, and undo. We have the form operation for close form, open form, and print current form. So now this one wants us to close the form. So we choose the close form, next. And then here, if you want to use the picture, you can browse for that picture. Or here, it was written closed form. So we use the text and the next. Then we type closed form. And then you finish. So there will be closed form here. Now, when I go to the form view and I click on this one, it's going to close the form for me. We call it the action button. Let me open again. Action button, you draw it here. We also have record like saving or delete record. You can use any of them so that it gives delete record. So you can insert various action buttons in a form. So take note of it, how to insert action buttons also. Right. Now, the 3 members also, let's look at that one, and then we close for the day. Then I'll urge you to do other questions here. There are so many questions that you can try your hands on. regarding this, the action buttons, inserting images, the AVG, and then the mix of conditional formatting, and then inserting the query with the calculations, also the new price with the if statement as well. 5 review, 5 fixtures. You can try your hands on all these questions. If you come across any question that is more difficult, don't hesitate to drop down in the comment, and then I'm going to explain everything to you. Right. I think I will take one of the longest one, and then we close for the day. I won't solve most of the questions. I will do this one, which is under the 5 top 50. 5 top 50. Five top 50. I think I don't have it here, but let me check 5. Yeah, there we go. Right, I'll add it so that you can also have it, which was the prep question 2024. Now, this one I'm going to focus on some key questions. I'm going to focus, I won't do the form, because the form, when you're creating form, you use form wizard. And then this form also has an image, background image, and then also conditional formatting. Okay, let me just do them. Create a form called FRM5_2. So create, like I said, whenever you are creating a form, use form wizard. Now, the form is based on the table, TBL titles, and then what is supposed to be displayed, we have the title, author, rank, and then the others. So let's try and add them. Title, author, rank, Amazon rating, and ISBN. There are no pages. Yes, only this one. Right. So we click on next, and then the name of the form is FRM5_2. You modify it, and then you click on finish. Now, we check what is expected from us. According to the question, we have to add the 5-book image as the background of the form. So you right click, no, you go to background image from the format, background image, you browse for 5-book. As the background. And then again, the question says, change the general to combo box by using the general table. Now, we change this one to combo box. You right click, change to combo box. And then now we are going to link it by clicking on the data. Then we choose the table. Right. So that is the one that we need to do. Ensure that the biography appears as an option in the combo box. Yes. Now here, it doesn't show biography as an option. So what we need to do is we have to first go to the table and then we type biography as another option so that we can close it and then to be part of the option. Right. Then the next question, apply conditional formatting to the rank field to shade all books that have less than 17 pages in color of your choice. So to the rank, conditional formatting, you go to format, conditional formatting, new rule, and then that has, according to the question, that has more than 17. So greater than 17. And then we fill with any color of our choice. And then we say, okay, and then apply. So that's how we do the conditional formatting. Then the last part, query 5_3. And then we should display all the romance and thriller books with an Amazon rating of 4 or more than 4.1. So let's open 5_3. The first part says romance and then thriller books. So how will we find that? Just run it and check. Where do we find the thriller and romance under the genre? So we go there and then put R star and then T star. Let's check. No, I chose wrong one. It should be under this one, R star and then T star. Right. So it shows romance and that one only. Good. And then the next one is with an Amazon rating of more than 4.1. So Amazon rating, this one. We have to add Amazon rating to it. Good. And then it should be greater than 4.1. Greater than 4.1. And then here also greater than 4.1. Don't forget, it must be repeated. Anytime you put more options, the other criteria must be for all of them as well. So Amazon rating of more than 4.1. Then the last part, where the price per book is between 200 and 300 inclusive. So the price must be between 200 and 300. You repeat that, between 200 and 300. So the price should be between 200 and 300 as well. Let's check if we have another criteria. Only the current fields should display. So meaning the Amazon should not be displayed. Right. We just added for the criteria. Now, the last part that says, open the query QRY5_4. This is aggregate function. We see AVG of price and the max of rank. So 5_4. And then price and rank were attached. So we click on the totals. Then where it says price, because the question says AVG of price, we change the group by to AVG, and then the rank was max of rank. So we change it as well to max. Good. So max of rank and then AVG of price. So this should be our final product. Now, open QRY 5_5 based on TBL titles. Now, management decided to have a discount on all the books that were published on or after the 30th of June. you only need to pay 75% of the price of the book for the books that were before 30th of June. You still need to pay the full price. So those that were before, you have to pay the full price. Those that are on or after, then you have to pay a discount of 75%. Now, insert a calculated field called new price to calculate that. Note, use the if statement. Now, here we need to use if statement. So how do we use if statement in a query? Similar to using if statement in table, you right click, build. Now we apply the if statement. Double if. So if the date published, according to the question, published is on or after. So if the date published, so you go and double click on the date published, is greater than or equals to 30th of June, 06, 30th of June, 2022. Like I said, you must type it in the right order, the day, the month, and then the year. If your computer is giving problem, you can put a hashtag here to enclose the date, comma. Then we must have 75% discount. Remember, 75% discount. They are going to pay 75%, which is 0.75. Or you can say 75 over 100 times the price. Otherwise, they must pay the full price. Then you close the bracket. So if the date published is greater or equals to this date, then they must pay 75% of the price. Otherwise, the price should maintain. Then we change this one to new price. Right, so this will be the new price, comparing the date. This one I was using to compare date by using if statement. I wanted to do this question before we end our lesson. That was one of the most difficult questions. The rest are not difficult as well. Right. The last part says form. Now, conditional formatting, yellow bar color. So let's check the, oh, this one we are done. So here is another 1.5. So the conditional format, we did that. And then also the display property of the image. We did that. Just go to the display. If you have an image in the form, you must make sure that the property you put display and then visible. Right. So that is all about that question. And then 5 fixtures also. I don't think the questions were difficult. You can do them. Then the notch calculations also. This one also, the calculation percentage increase and others. So basically, they follow the same with the combo box. They are the same. If you follow the same thing, you can solve any question. This is the aggregate function count of. And this one would depart after. That means there's an if statement there. When it's greater than that, then the discount calculation. All right. So basically, this is what you need to do. I'll urge you to answer the rest of the questions. And then if there's any question that you don't understand, drop it in the comment section. And then I will make a video and then share with everyone. Thank you for your time. Tomorrow, we are going to look at report in database. And I think it will be a short lesson as well. And then Friday or Thursday, we will have HTML. Thank you for your time.